Okay, UA, U4A4, Unit 4, Activity 4 in the grade 9 Rich Head Math course, Analytic Geometry section, Graphing Linear Relations. So we'll look at kind of putting it all together for this part of the course. So let's go through this, and what I'm going to do this time is go through the actual content, the note, and let's take a look at what's going on here. So given this equation here, y equals 3/4 x plus 2, tell me what's going on. This means that we can use the slope and the intercept to graph this equation. So if we want to go through this example here, this is kind of neat. We have the slope and we have the equations here. We start off with the intercept. So the intercept was 2, and the intercept then will go through the point 0, 2. So anytime you have an intercept, it's through the point 0, whatever the intercept is. Okay, so 0b. So here, let's go back. We had an intercept of, let's see if we can get this here, of 2. Oh, what's happening? That's one thing. Forget that. Recall the slope is a ratio of rise to run. So we use the point and the rise and the run to get the next point. So the slope is rise or run was 3. Our slope is 3/4. So 3/4, which means that we rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're always going to go to the right. Okay. So rise can be, if it's negative, we'll go down, and then we'll go over. But we're always going over. When I say over, it's to the right. So let's keep going here. Rise of 3, I knew that one. Run of 4. Plot your next point. Where's that point end up? 3 higher is at 5. 4 over is at 4. So it would be the point 4, 5 would be the next point. And then plot the point, and then connect the points, and then label the graph. There you go. So we had plus 2 was our intercept. 3/4 is the slope. So that means I'm less than 1. Our slope of 1 would go something like this, but 3/4 is a little flatter. So that means rise of 3, 1, 2, 3, run of 4, like I said, and we're done. That's it. There's no next step. Good. I would put arrows on both ends there. Good. So let's keep going. Let's look at the next question. Given this line, okay, we want to graph this one. Negative 1/2 x plus 3. Let's go through this. Negative 1/2 x plus 3. So I start off with my plus 3 as my intercept here, and negative 1/2 was my slope. So that was negative 1 over 2. That's rise over run. So negative 1 is my rise. So my rise of negative 1 means go down 1. And then it was negative 1 over 2. So my run is 2 over 2. So what point is this? Well, you just read it off the graph. If I started at 3 and I end up here, down 1 over 2, that point is the point 1, 2 over and 2 up. So this would be the point 2, 2. So negative slope goes down, fairly flat because it's like it's less than 1, sorry. So let's keep going. Here, if I can get this to work. Good. Check your graph, and we did that. Good. Next up, let's look at this guy, 4x minus 5. So what's going on there? 4x minus 5. There's my intercept of negative 5. So I just start at the bottom, below the axis, and then I'm going up with a slope of 4. So if I go through this, I'll start down here, and then I have a slope of 4. So I'll go up 4 to negative 1 and over 1. So whenever I have a slope of a whole number, it's always going to be up that number or down that number if it's negative, and then over just the 1. So our next point will be the point, and we'll just read it off the graph. 1, negative 1. So 1, negative 1. Okay, so let's go through that. So I do that, and then I connect the dots, and I'm done. Okay, put arrows on the end of each line. Let's keep going. Positive slope on that last one. So let's go up here. What happened here? So this is my version of the course. It looks a little different than yours, but not much. What's going on here? What is the coordinate? Let's get the equation here. What's the coordinate of the y-intercept? So if we're getting the equation, we're going to work backwards. We're going to get the slope and the y-intercept. So y equals mx plus b. We need the slope and the intercept. Usually we start off with the b because it's easier. Here I'm crossing through here at 2. I'm crossing through the intercept at 2. So my b is 2. So answer is the y-intercept is 2, or it goes to the point 0, 2. We're saying the same thing there. So b is 2, and then I need the slope. Or no, what's this question asking? it's just saying, I don't know what it's asking. Anyway, if we were to get let's say we were trying to get the equation here, we have b of 2, and then our slope would be, well, how do we get this? How do we get to this point? We go over, or sorry, we go down 2 over 1. So we have a negative slope of -2, sorry, a slope of -2 over 1, which is -2. So I have a equation would be y equals m, which is the slope, -2, x plus b, which is 2. So that's my equation. If we're going to keep going here and talk about the y and x intercepts, this is a little different. I advise you to go through this PowerPoint here. But let's go here. 2x plus 3y is equal to 6. So for this one here, I'm going to go over. You might have noticed that as yesterday's stuff. So I had 2x plus 3y is equal to 6, and I want to go through this and figure out what are the intercepts. Okay, so the intercepts mean, where do I hit this and where do I hit this? Where do I hit the x-axis, sorry, where do I hit the y-axis? Find out where I hit them. That gives you 1 point. That gives me a second point. Connect the dots, and I have a line. Okay, so let's draw a pair of axes, and let's figure out how to do this. Well, if I am on this axis here, I have a x value of 0. So let's think about that for a second. My y intercept, okay, so where I hit the y intercept is when I don't move either way in the x-axis. So if I have a point here, and I say, what is the value of this point? It would be 0, whatever, okay, 9 or 10 or 3 or whatever. Okay, so let's say 0, 3. If I had one down here, it would be the point 0, negative something, -5, negative, okay? Doesn't matter, but the key is that x is 0 during my y-intercept. So at my y-intercept. So let's figure out how to come up with the y-intercept. Is what you do is you set x equals 0. So here, to find the y-intercept, set x equal to 0. And then you're going to probably figure out how to do the x-intercept. Kind of similar. So if I put 0 here for x, and I leave y, I don't know what it is yet, I leave it like that, then I go ahead and I work my way through to solve for y. So this equation holds. This is the equation for the line. So 2 times 0 is 0. Then I have 3y is equal to 6. I solve for y, divide each side by 3. So y is equal to 6 over 3. Y is equal to 2. So my intercept is at the point 0, 2, or my y-intercept is 2. Now to get the x-intercept, you can imagine, you can probably figure this out. To get the x-intercept, I'm going to set y equal to 0. So people get confused with that. They say set y equal to 0 to get the y-intercept. Well, let's think about that. If y is 0, then I'm not up or down. So I'm on the x-axis. So that's why we call it the x-intercept. Or well, that's why it is the x-intercept. So here, same sort of thing, except now where y was, I put a 0 and I solve for x. So that's 0. So I just kind of get rid of that. And I'm left with this. 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So this intercept here is when x is 3, I get to 0. So there is my line here. Now, can I write an equation for this line? I can do it a couple ways. Okay, I'm just going to kind of go further here. How would I write this in y equals mx plus b form? Well, let's do it 2 different ways. Let's do it by rearranging this first. So I can rearrange this here, and I can bring, what I can do here, sorry, is bring that 2x over. So the 6 was already there. And what I'll do is let me clean this up a bit here. What I'll do here is I'll bring that 2x over. It's adding on this side, so when I bring it over, it subtracts. And I just bring it to the front so I can keep it in the right form. And now what I'll do is I will divide everything by 3. So 6 divided by 3, I'll just do one step, is that right here. So negative, so let's go over what I did here again. I bring this 2x over. It's adding on this side, so it subtracts on that side. But I put it in front, so I'm in the closer to the y equals mx plus b form. So there's mx plus b, but we're not there yet because I have a 3 in front here. So I have to get rid of this 3. So I divide each of these by 3. So -2, this becomes -2/3, and this becomes 6 over 3, and 6 over 3 is 2. So -2/3 is my slope. This is my y-intercept, and let's see if this makes sense now. If I look over here, what's my y-intercept? My y-intercept is 2. Okay, so that's my b. And what's my slope? My slope is, how do I go from here to here? I have a rise of -2. So I'm going down 2, and then I go over 3. So if I came back and said, let's get the equation from the graph, I have y equals -2/3 x plus my intercept, which is 2, which is the same thing. Okay, so is essentially what we're looking at for this unit. Let me just finish up by looking at the